Hello my dear friend, welcome back to my channel. This is Junie. Are you planning to do a baking themed buju for this month? Yes? Good. Grab a pen and notebook and let's draw a baking doodle together. Here I'm going to share with you about 40 plus most commonly used items and ingredients for baking. The first one is glove. Make sure to draw it wide and thick. You can use slightly curved line to show the puffy texture on it. There's no special order for those doodles, so the second thing comes to my mind is the butter. It's basically a simple cuboid with these paper folding edges, and of course you can also write down the name on it. The next is a measure cup. The one I'm drawing is based on what I have. Scale bar is the key to this doodle. As for mixer, I have 3 different types of them. Now I'm drawing the electronic kind, and I'll show you the other 2 later. If you ever use the manual one to whip egg white, you know that this is such a lifesaver. Here we also got some scale spoons. They usually come in a set and attached to a ring. And of course, silicone spatula is very necessary. As for piping bag, you can draw it more randomly, give it some folding mark and then at the tip. What I'm going to draw next is milk. You can simplify it as triangular prism plus a cuboid with a small cylinder to represent the cap. And also you can leave enough space to write down the name. So what's the most important ingredients in baking? Bingo! Eggs. Here I'm showing you how to draw a whole pack of eggs. 2 waving lines could represent 10 eggs sitting in the box. Remember to parallel the waving line and straight lines. Whisk is pretty easy and it doesn't have to be perfect symmetrical. The next is a cutting board. Let's give a thickness and I'm also going to draw some wood texture on it. It would be better to use a thinner pen, but I'm just lazy here, so let's try to give it some organic tree texture and make it random and natural. Now let's draw some different shape of spatula. Sometimes we could also use salt during baking, so I decided to draw this most common one in the US, which also looks like a simple cylinder. After salt, how can we forget about soda? Same method, but let's draw it in a jar shape. Here comes the big guy mixer. I got a pro version of this as a wedding gift, but sadly my kitchen is too small to use it. Andy, thank you for the gift if you're watching, and I promise I'll use it once I get a bigger kitchen. Let's draw a spoon here. Instead of drawing the inner line all the way, you can just do a half curve to represent. So the next, similar way as drawing milk, but more curved line at the corners could give it a full solid feeling. Yep, we're drawing sugar here. For the scale, I know there are different kinds out there, and actually based on my personal experience, digital one is more accurate, especially when it comes to 2 grams or 5 grams. Here I'm also drawing a timer, the most simple kind. I used to have an egg-shaped one, but I broke it. Okay, time for this big guy, flour. Proportion-wise, this should be bigger because, you know, who doesn't waste a lot of flour at the beginning, right? If you are a heavy Instagram user, you may also need this display plate or holder. Let's draw another egg, shall we? Sometimes you may also need brush. The one I'm drawing is silicone material, so you can see each brush pretty clearly. And here is another shape of silicone spatula. This is the kind is more like a spoon. As we're drawing this yoga bottle, I have a tape for drawing glass. Give it a discontinued line to show the inside wall. I personally like to use olive oil because it's more healthy. I know the bottle I draw is more like mayonnaise bottle. Let me fix it by writing down the name. Time for baking tray. The one I use most often is glass, so I'm making it thick and glass texture. You can also make it thinner and more flat if it's a metal material. Rolling pin is quite easy, just simplify it as a cylinder with 2 handles. The next is a heart-shaped cookie cutter. You can make whatever shape you want by angling the shape and give it some thickness. Then I'm drawing this apron. You may think it's not necessary sometimes, but I'm the one who's doing laundry in this house, so I just love it. As an elegant woman, I'd like to put spices in cute containers, so I draw this small cute pot for sugar. Speaking of spices, let's also give salt a better home. Then for cleaning cloth, again use curvy lines to represent the texture. Let's keep drawing containers. For jam, you can give it a paper-wrapped cap, just feel more organic. I know I did a terrible job on the chef head, so please just ignore it. If you don't use the milk from what we drew earlier, here is another way to draw milk bottle. Honestly, I don't remember why I drew a knife and fork here. Probably my brain process is that we're almost at the end of this doodle drawing, time to eat while we bake. Sometimes we may also need blender, so I'm drawing the simple version of it. It's like a tall scale cup sitting on a machine. Let's draw some buttons and outlets cable to make it more real. I still have the habit of writing down the recipe on paper because I don't really want to touch my phone while baking. The next, how about a big bowl for mixing? I bet I'm not the only one who has to move to a bigger bowl during preparing the base. I always have trouble estimating how much stuff I'm making. We have a little bit space left here, so let's draw a muffin tin. Give it a little bit thickness and you can still see the cup in the front. At the end, I usually like to give doodles a thicker black outline to make it pop out more. It could also make them look cuter. So I have about 40 plus baking doodle here, and I may miss some, but I try to cover everything I usually use in my baking process. I hope this video is helpful or inspiring for you. You're very welcome to leave comments if you have any questions. If you haven't watched my baking/doodle theme video, I'll leave the link here and also down in the description. For more updates, you can follow me on Instagram too. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to turn on the bell. Thank you for watching.